Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching doing the ES Trade Review for September 11th, 2013. And man, it turned out to be an awesome day for what was pretty monotonous the majority of the day. And so going into tonight's review session, first of all, this is for educational purposes only. Nothing in the video should be considered a trading recommendation. And trading futures is dangerous. Make sure you know what you're doing. Talk to an investment professional before deciding whether or not futures trading is right for you. I am not that person. I am just a lowly trader trying to help out some other lowly traders become good traders. So here's the deal, and it's a pretty straightforward deal. Some people have been asking me, I don't mind sharing it, that you can get all this stuff out of a textbook. There's nothing revolutionary about it. But what we're looking at here is let's see if I can pull this up, a method for starting the basis of my research in the morning. Like kind of just what do I look at when I get here. I'm not going to go through all the details, but just kind of wanted to give you a look. So the first thing that I noticed when I come in is that overnight we didn't sell off at all. Like we didn't even get towards the lower end of yesterday's trading range. First thing that kind of hits me, there's no sellers there. There's not a lot of sellers. I mentioned that this morning that if we did push down towards 1670, 1675, 77 in that area, and then 1670, I expect a response of buyers there. The other thing I mentioned this morning when I was trading is that if you look on the daily market profile, everything is pointed up right now. Everything is pointed up. And it's rare for us to go from straight up to straight down, although we pretty much did it here with the war. It's rare for that to happen. So the first thing I'm looking at is we're pretty much trading sideways overnight coming into today's action. Okay, this is the open right here. If you look, you will see a 830. That's this morning's open. And the other thing you're going to notice that's interesting about this chart is we are rolling over, at least the brokerage firm I trade with is rolling over to the December contract tomorrow morning. I don't start trading December contract till the day after everyone else rolls over. So I'll be trading the September contract until the end of the day tomorrow, and I'll pick up December on Monday. But they've already addressed the continuous contract. So the numbers don't match, but the data lines do. And so a couple things I'm looking at. So I want to know where the regular trading hour low was on Tuesday. I want to know where Globex low was from the overnight session, Globex high, and where the RTH highs were. And so the first thing that I noticed is the Globex low is above yesterday's RTH low. Good piece of information. Also, the RTH high was lower than the Globex high. So we have essentially a set of higher lows overnight. And so this morning when we came in, this is what the trade plan looked like. Let's see if I have this for effective purposes. Here we go. Just kind of scoot this over. Okay, so I had the first zone at 1682 to 1684, and right out of the gate we came right up to 1682. You had to have your limit there and ready to go, or you did not get hit. You could get hit on the ask, but you had to have it there. You couldn't. It never went bid 82. And that gave us a quick rollover for 2 points, bagged that in the first 5 minutes. Now, just so people have a point of reference, that's how I like my trades to work. I don't like to hang out a long time on my trades. Okay, this whole damn thing, we're trading with leverage. I like to get in, I like to get out, and I like to get paid. And patience, while I do have it occasionally, I certainly don't have it while leaving a bunch of risk on. So I took off the majority of my risk. I left a small trailer the first time down. We came back up the second time. I saw that we had stalled. Visually, what was I looking at? Well, if you look over at NASDAQ had been weak coming into the open, and it wasn't rocket shipping up like it normally does. And I just kind of, sometimes you look, I go, I know I'm at the zone. I know the zone gives me, this is the first true move into the zone. I know the zone itself gives me good trade location, right? And I was willing to put a reasonable stop. And so I wanted to discuss this. I was in a seminar with FT71 yesterday, and he was discussing, okay, so the stop, you have to know when you are, what your risk is on a trade. And if you know that risk, this is his, he's like, he went over some really good points. Most traders do not have a plan for how they're going to trade. Number one, most traders don't have any process goals set for trading. Their goals are merely dollar-based, and they're deceiving. And then he goes, most traders really haven't come to terms with the random outcome of each trade, and most traders do not have defined risks to get that outcome. So, you know, FT71 was essentially, the man was spot on. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. If we look at his next slide, he really hit some good points. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see, was this it here? No, let's go with, let's see. Oh, okay. His other point was, do you have an edge, and how do you exploit that edge, and how do you do it over and over and over again? So many traders are just coming out there and going, well, I just want to figure out which way it's going, and then I want to capture the entire move. Well, let me tell you, there's so many ways to look at this thing. Like, if you look at this chart right here, I could trade off of this chart. God, it'd be a little frustrating, but I could trade off of this chart, right? It'd be harder because I'm not exactly clear. I've got a sideways range. We're going up. I know that. And I know up is easier than down. That's all I know. But I don't know where the levels of supply are on this chart. But I know other things. And the other things are good to know. I know that I've got session high. I got the first hour high right here. I've got the first hour low. I know that the first hour low is higher than yesterday's low during the RTH. All of that is good information. And when I came in this morning, when I come into work, my goal is simple. I want 2 trades executed during the day. I want to make 2 points off of each of those trades, and I want to load as many contracts into that trade as humanly possible. If I get a 3rd or a 4th trade, fantastic. That's just bonus for me. But all I need is 1 or 2 good trades, right? The other thing I don't want to do that's clearly a goal is I don't want to take bad trades. And if you listen to my review yesterday, I traded like ass. And my goal today, my sole goal is to come in and execute my trade plan, use my stops, and not move my stops unless I had a good reason. So going back, you know, traders, the reason why I don't have a problem putting this stuff up or even putting out my trade plan is because most traders have no idea how to organize themselves to actually have a trade plan. They don't actually have a written trade plan or a focused set of goals. All they do is they look at the market and they say, look how much money I can make, look how much money I can make. But the market's an unlimited environment, okay? There are some traders that are better than you, some traders that are worse than you. You know, if you fall in the 90%, there's, you know, about 10% of traders that are better than you, and everyone else is losing money along with everyone else. It's basically a transfer of wealth from the 90% of the worst traders to the 10% of the best traders, which I think is great. Amen. I love it. It's made my life fantastic. But it's not an exclusive club. Anyone can join it as long as you just can get the corner on one edge, one thing that you can do better and repeatedly than others. And you can build in both a stop system that you don't have to be obsessed with, meaning you've accepted the loss, and B, you have a profit-taking system within that, right? And you're not trying to capture the entire market. You're just trying to capture your little section, and you're maximizing that edge. That, in a nutshell, is what I do. I don't scale in generally. It's very rare for me to do that. I do scale out occasionally. I do leave runners at key points in the day, but generally I'm all in, all out, right? And I'm just not looking to hit home runs as in 10, 20 points. I get them, but I'm not looking to get them. It's not my primary business plan. And so what I would encourage you to do is say, hey, is this my primary trading plan? So knowing all of this here, right? People asked in the afternoon, well, how did I know that we were going to hit new highs? Okay, well, we cleared Globex high this morning, and we never ever came back in. As a matter of fact, we set a higher low and a higher high. We're setting this series, after we set this initial lower high, lower low, we came back in, we set a higher high than we had through this entire session and yesterday, and then we set a higher low, right? We were unable to penetrate back below Globex high. That acts as a door. If the traders can't get underneath, there's only one option left, and that means everyone that was short up here, and there was a lot of people, if you're looking at the stream, everyone thought basically that 1687, which if we look at the photo, that's exactly what we were dealing with here. That's let's see if I can find that here real quick. So in today's session, okay, so a couple of things that are hints. Okay, so when we push below Globex low and then we recapture it and we're unable to stay in, and we're able to stay above like we are right in here where they tried to reject it and they couldn't. Sellers are trapped right in here, folks. I don't know if you can see this well or not, but sellers are trapped. The last sellers are trapped, and we've got a higher low relative to where we were from yesterday's low. Okay, so when I see all of that and I know, okay, well, we got a possible long, which is why when we got up into here, I'm like, hey, I'm not taking a short here because I know now that buyers have regained control. Okay, I can't explain that easily in a tweet, but I know that. The next thing that I know is when we get up here, we had tick divergence, and man, was it slow. And my concern is if you go back to the morning review, which I will post the link for just below this video, I said buyers are in control. I don't expect to. I'm not going to overly push my downside trades, and if anything, I'm going to push my upside trades. Right now, because of the method that I present here when I trade, the only trades I'm presenting are rotations out of the zones the first time they get hit. But there are other trades. However, I'm not going to go all over the place. And not only that, in my primary execution, I want to stay focused on what my main theme is. My main theme is I like to trade a large number of contracts, increased incrementally as my profits increase. And I want to repeat that process over and over and over again with a relatively tight stop. So the last piece that I wanted to tie up here, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video review. Last week, I think I was up from Tuesday through Friday, I was up 1.5 points total profit. The Friday before that, which is the last time I had a spreadsheet data for that I can recall, I was up about 5.5 points for the day. So if you take that, that's 7 points from that Friday to Friday, essentially. Okay. Monday I made 2 points. Yesterday I lost 2 points. If you add the NQ trade in, it's a little less, but for sake of conversation, let's just call Monday, Tuesday a wash. I'm at 0. But if you add in the 5 points from today, okay, now since a week ago from Friday, I'm now up. Coming in for the week, I have 5 today, and I had a total of 7 from that prior Friday. So that puts me up 12 ES points coming into Thursday and Friday. I can actually end up having a fairly solid 2 weeks if I get 1 or 2 swing trades tagged in here along with some good 2-point rotations out of some zones. Okay. The key to all that is not telling you how great I am that I'm making money. And as if you listened yesterday, I sucked trading yesterday. But what I did really great over the last 2 weeks was I didn't bury my account. Okay. And that's as big a skill as finding a profitable trade. And the funny thing is, as I've had more and more flat days over the last week and a half, I haven't caught those. I have not caught the big swings, the big trend days up, and the number of people watching my video has dropped off more and more day by day, which is fine. People are chasing the money. That's what they do in this market. How do you differentiate yourself from all the people chasing money out here? Stay consistent. Do the same thing over and over. Master one thing and then master a second thing and get really good at it so that you can be like me. So you can go through periods of time where instead of your drawdowns being down huge, 10%, 20%, 30%, and there's people out there who have that, your drawdowns are, I'm flat for the week. Your drawdowns are, I'm barely up for the week. And then when the market lines back up, and by God, it will. It does it every time. You're set up to swings for some home runs, some good consistency, and the next thing you know, by the end of the month, you're up 30, 40, 50, 60 points by the end of the month, which is not uncommon. I've had 100-point months. And you are sitting pretty, your account is sitting pretty, and you're making a ton of money, and you're not stressed over that period of time. Not only that, because you know you're consistent, when you do have bad days like I did yesterday, they're really easy to correct. You go in and you correct what the errors were. So there's multiple ways to slice this thing. Right now, as far as the market is concerned, we're in an uptrend. We could pull all the way back down to 1360 and still be in an uptrend. Okay, 1360, 1630, it's just a number. All the way back down to 1630. As of right now, with yesterday's contract, we'd be trading up somewhere at approximately 1690. And my guess is we're going to push a little bit higher from there and try that 1697. Anyway, everyone have a great night. I've run out of time. I hope this helps some people. My name is Simon with Trading Perform Coaching. If you need some help, contact me. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.